Hi, folks, and welcome to Sparkles for Mental Health, Growth in 5 Dimensions. I'm Dr. Christine Sauer, and today I'm really excited to have parenting coach Chinara Crumpton with me. So this show is on how to become your best as a parent and about practical strategies to help your children shine and to grow up to be successful, well-adjusted adults. Welcome, Chinara.
Hello. Hi. Thank you, Christine, for inviting me.
It's a pleasure. And I know, Chinara, that you're an experienced professional British nanny. And I met you on a recent visit to London in England, where some of my own grandchildren live. And I was impressed by your caring attitude towards my own grandkids and your skill of guiding them to do what was needed in the situation, being firm, consistent, without causing too much upset and screaming and fights that are so common in our families today. And I had the same when my kids were small. We didn't have a nanny, we should have. And I remember thinking, I wish I would have had Chinara as a nanny when my own kids were young. So we got talking and I found out that you're really well educated, have studied early childhood education, psychology, and that you have a passion for sharing all your knowledge with the world. So here we are today, starting to help a wider audience raise healthier, happier children to become a genius, as you say. Now, let's explain that a little bit more. Chinara, what do you mean when you say any child can be a genius?
Well, interesting. So when somebody says genius, people automatically assume it's a child with brilliant academic achievements or very high IQ. In my terms, in my perception, that isn't a description of a genius child or genius person. So genius is somebody who is so brilliant at what he or she is doing because he or she found what his passion is. And how do you do that? By doing correct, right parenting, by taking care of the child and letting him find that passion. And that is genius, because that person, that little person who becomes a big person in adulthood, he's going to be so loving his life. He is going to be so passionate about everything. He's going to think whole world loves him and he loves back. So that is genius in my term.
And I've heard you say that those children, they can't help but become successful because, as you said, they're so passionate. Now, yes. Some people say, oh, my child is just too stupid, or it has challenges like a disability, ADHD, or is autistic. Have you any experience with those children and what happened to them?
Oh, yes. So when I say genius, the child has to shine. And in my 3 decades of experience, what I realized that, and what I saw, that children with all kind of conditions can shine. They can be geniuses. I have come across with working in an environment where parents, my employers, they had they were formally diagnosed with ADHD. So a parent had ADHD and a child had ADHD. And Christine, what was amazing, eye-opening for me as well, because I was a young parent myself. I also used to think to be a genius, you have to be born really talented or having a really high IQ and anything. So this parent with ADHD had so much energy, and this multitasking skills are so amazing. So what I learned watching those people, and there were few of them, that if you channel that energy right, if you have intentions right, and if you develop skills, so in our case, as a carer for child, if we help the child to develop skills to channel his skills into something he is very passionate, something he's good at, it's going to be phenomenal. And that's what genius born. The child shines. When I say genius, it means give opportunity to a child to shine. And when he shines, he feels so good about himself. So he feels that he can conquer a world. He can achieve anything he wants. And as I observed, people like that usually able to build life they want, and they are very good socially as well. And they build the life the way they want, because drawdowns of lives, you know, Christine, life is not perfect. It goes up and it goes down. And when it goes down, some people crumble.
That's
and
true.
they never get up back. They can never rebuild their lives. So people who manage to get the genius in them, they tend to rebuild their lives easier than others. They tend to go back and try again. They don't think, oh, this is it, this is the end of the world, and I never. They tend to have traits of, well, it didn't work this time, so I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, I love that, because I always say, the more often you fail, the more likely you are to succeed in the future. And
Yes.
can you give us an example of someone you know that started or had a really bad start and everybody thought he would never amount to anything? And for those readers that are or listeners that wonder why you always say he, that's just a habit that you have adopted because you care, interestingly, mostly for boys. Isn't that true? Although you had a daughter yourself that you raised to be her genius. So do you know anybody that had a hard start?
Yes, yes. So I can tell you one case when little boy was born with lots of conditions because he was born early. So when he was born, doctors predicted not very good future. So
What all
his
was
name,
wrong with him?
sorry?
What all was wrong with him?
He was born prematurely and he had tumor in his brain.
Oh my God.
So then he had a severe hearing impairment.
Wow.
And, as a doctor, you know that when you can't hear, you also develop speech problems. So speech problems were a big thing. So what happened was that his parents, they didn't just accept the situation. They believed that with good care, they will change and he will get better and he will fight and he will survive. And as any other parents, we hope for best. So what is amazing, it did happen. He survived. And I watched him and I was in it, I was there, watched him how he walked in 24 months. 24 months is a bit late, but it was a big achievement, and it was the day I will never forget. We all were emotional. So he walked to learn, so he learned to walk, then he learned to write, then he got a hearing aid later on. He didn't have it for many years because of brain tumor. And it's interesting how children are very adaptable, He developed this lip reading. And it was so interesting. He would gaze at you and he would he already knew what you want from him. He already knows what you are mood at. And he was a good judge of character. And he also developed amazing memory. So all these skills, interestingly, he used at school. and he started bringing amazing grades. So later on, he finished school with such a high grades, and he was accepted to one of prestigious universities in England. And at present, he is working in genetics. And this is important part, that he is so passionate about it. He never stops talking about it because he loves it and he's so good at it. So he is passionate about the environment. He's passionate about genetics to make difference for human life and etc. I admire this young man, and I know so much about him because he's my cousin. He's my cousin, and his parents, they're amazing people, both of them. So what did they do? This, you would think, this is such a case.
Yeah, everybody really would have said that he's bound to be disabled for the rest of your life. You need somebody to care for him. And now look at that.
Yes, yes,
Completely
yes.
self-sufficient. He's completely, on the contrary, he contributes highly to society. What a success story.
It's a success. So what was his parents did phenomenal work. They mastered these parenting skills by using tools. So looking at them, I learned because I wanted to know how did they achieve that. So they used the right type of physiotherapy, etc. But they didn't do anything extra special for this child. They never told him he's disabled. They never gave him any excuses. Oh, you can have, of course you can have because you have disability or because you have never. They were so strict with him. They expected him to do all the chores and homeworks just like other siblings. So he grew up sort of surviving, but also in equal terms as children with non-disabilities. So that's what happened to Archie. And this is not just an isolated case, because I am in this nanny industry for 3 decades, as I mentioned, and I had a few more cases and quite a lot of them as well. Excuse me. So what I think, Christine, and I'm sorry I call you Christine, you're Dr. Christine, but we are working together now. And the amazing thing is your expertise on mental health and also your experienced parenting coach already. Putting together that with my skills, I think we can manage to deliver this message to many, many parents who can benefit. So your child does not have to be born talented and gifted and all that. Your child is already born with those genes. He already has it because scientists already proved it. Everyone knows that children have these 100 billions of neurons in the brain. They sit in there. So it's up to us, parents, nannies, carers who care for children, to extract those genes, cultivate them, nurture them, feed them right, and give directions. And then child will find best in himself. And it doesn't matter who he is. He doesn't have to be brilliant in math. That's fine. He could be genius on doing something from mud. And I know such child actually who just couldn't do well academically. Christine, it's an amazing case actually. That's another one. So he couldn't, he didn't want physics, chemistry, math. He just wanted play in the mud in a farm. And
he would say, never ever is he going to be amounting to anything.
The interesting thing is his parents were so supportive, super intelligent people. So together we managed to bring this child up. And he went to college, and he's one of the best and most the biggest supplier of organic vegetables in Europe. And that boy who played in the mud in the wellies, he wasn't interested in anything else. So, and Christine,
yeah.
yes. Interesting. Going back to your question about ADHD, and I mentioned I knew parents. I haven't if I could just mention what they did. So, so they were my employers, and for me, it's always seemed, oh, this is a super rich person. This is so amazing. He must have been brilliant at school. So what I found out, they were self-made. And then even more I wanted to know. So I remember asking, I said, so you did well at school? And I was astonished to hear the answer, because he said, no, I couldn't do well at school. And I couldn't do well in sport either. So he finished school barely, struggling when 16, so he didn't do high school. So then he said, I used to love driving a tractor. Just tractor. Then he had little plot of land, and he said, I calculated, he said, I calculated how much I would make money if I put crops certain amount or whatever, then if I sell it. And I worked it out, that's not enough. And do you know what he did? He worked it out the way how to invent a product which is organic, which is amazing, which people love. And he's famous. Every household knows his product. So that was only one example, but I know a few people. And that was another eye-opener, yeah.
That last story, everybody wants to know. He wasn't successful in school. Was he put on medication?
Sorry?
Was he put on medication?
Because he had ADHD, he used to take some medication. And that's another issue, I think. I am familiar with another child who used to take medication. And looking back now, I think, because I know more about it, I would not support that method, because what I watched, what I witnessed by observing people. So one of parents I worked used to take some medication but come off it. Another one didn't. So, but they had so much energy, and it was, for me, I think you can take ADHD not as a negative label. It's actually, you can use it. It's amazing, a source of energy, and they can do a few multiple jobs at the same time. And if they focus on something, it's going to be phenomenal results. I just can't pinpoint and explain how their brain works, but I know if you channel that, it's amazing.
Wow, that's amazing. And I'm sure everyone that listening to this wants to know all about that, and we'll talk about that in a future show for sure. So if you're out there listening, feel free to comment with your questions, because I really want to hear what you're thinking, and listen on and take more of the good insights of Chinara with you into your own families. So Chinara, of course, yeah.
Do you know, I think almost every third family might be interested in conversations like this, because I see more and more children with ADHD and how they misunderstood.
Absolutely. So not just ADHD children now are depressed, and they have multiple illnesses that they slap on them, and sometimes there are multiple medications. And yes, I think medications have a point from my standpoint, but there are natural options and parenting options, and I feel they should be started first before
Yes,
you
yes.
give medication. Should, in my books, be the last resort, because honestly, we do not know what they do to the brain of a child in the long term. There are no long-term studies. We know it changes the structure of the brain. We do not know long-term effects. I've
Mhm.
seen some that
Yeah.
didn't turn out well with medication, but that is, of course, one case. We don't know on average, and it's interesting. And in my opinion, and in your experience too,
Mhm.
first explore all other options, and first explore good parenting, and strengthen
Yes.
the parts of the child and nourish those where they already shine and make them bigger. And like a good plant, I love gardening, and when you prune a plant, you cut away what you don't need and you strengthen the
Mhm.
parts of the plant that bear fruit. And that's exactly what you do with your parenting. The children are seed, and you nourish and nurture and grow them from the seedling to a strong fruit-bearing tree.
Mhm.
So, Chinara, we are all curious now. Why did you become a nanny of all things?
Interesting. People do ask me, do you know, because I think I radiate this uh, amazing energy, which they even get a little bit envious, I think, because I have so much energy. I love it, and I'm 52. But people say, "Oh, we can't believe you're 52." I think it's because I'm a nanny. I tell you why, because it's amazing, and I tell you how it started. So it's almost accidental, because I'm supposed to be an accountant. So I was a trainee accountant, and I become a mother to my beautiful daughter, and everything changed. So I think universe was gradually, piece by piece, brought things into my life, gently nudged me out of accountancy, because I invested so much into that. So what I did, I'm a young mom, and I have a daughter, and I have to be at home. And I started collecting children from nursery and school, which was nearby. Children of parents who are stuck. They are at work till 5, 6, and school finishes 2:45, and somebody has to collect them. So I used to collect and take them to the park, play, feed them, and have so much fun in the park, play football and all that, and come back. And children go back with parents 6 or 7 in the evening, and parents pay me. So, and I couldn't believe the benefits. So I get paid. It was extra income, and I was with my child. That was amazing. And also the fresh air, the beautiful trees. And I love all this meditation and appreciating life, and beautiful parks with trees again. I love trees, you can tell them. So, and I thought, oh my gosh, if I go back to accountancy and get fully trained, I will be stuck in office and be stressed and caught up in office politics. And that's how my career started. I started babysitting like that. Then I phoned, in Britain, we have government officials called social services. So I wanted to do it correctly. So I got registered, and I asked, what do I need to do a professional childcare? They advised some qualifications, but I went further than that because I just couldn't come up with it. It's so fascinating to study psychology and early years development, and I never stopped ever since. It's amazing. That's
So,
how it
Chinara,
started.
tell us, when you raised your own child, that was perfect, wasn't it?
Oh, Christine, do you have to ask that question? I was hoping
Absolutely, we
for
all want to
that.
know that.
I want to look perfect, but there is nothing perfect, unfortunately. Yes, I was young mom and I struggled. So perhaps we could talk about struggles and mistakes at some point.
Absolutely.
There are quite a lot.
I still
It's not,
remember when I had my two kids. Oh my boy, did I make a lot of mistakes, big time. I
yes,
feel we have to do an extra show about all the mistakes we made as
yes,
parents, and that maybe
yes,
helps other parents to realize, hey, it's okay.
yes,
Nobody is perfect. Even if you
yes.
know exactly how you should do it, that doesn't mean you are able to actually do it when then the opportunity comes.
Yes, you just have to, I think, try and also try to obtain all the resources. In my time when I was young mom, I was quite isolated and it wasn't so available, all this help available now. I mean, we are available now to train parents
Right,
because there is no university and college.
right.
When
No,
when I
there's
was
no
young,
good
there was no.
training.
Hmm.
There's really
So
no good training. There's books, and every parent thinks they know exactly how to do it, or they pick up one of the books that is more theory than practice. And some of them are good. I won't say they are not. There's a few things out there that I like, but really what people are need, I think, is more practical, down to earth advice from somebody that has experienced
yes,
it. Now, you've experienced it all being a nanny. So
yes.
there's a lot of parents listening now. What are some of the most common challenges that parents have to raise their children and they try to make the children adults? What mistakes do parents make? Just a few.
Just a few. Okay. So one of common mistakes parents can make is it's overprotectiveness. So it's natural. It's natural. It can happen to every parent because you want to keep your child safe. You want to teach your child, but sometimes parents can forget that a child actually needs a bit of a space. It's okay to fall. It's okay to cry, but he can learn from it. So it's a common mistake every parent does. I went through that as well. And
It's really a fine balance, right? Between letting the
yes,
children do
worrying.
and make mistakes, but not letting
Yeah,
them make really serious mistakes that will cause some physical harm. But for example, when I wanted to have my hair cut, my mom said no, and I was really mad at her. And looking back, she should have allowed me to do it because if I had been able to do it, maybe I would have realized I didn't like it.
mhm,
But
yes,
it wouldn't have been like running across the street being hit by a car. That's something that children, especially small, need to be protected for. I think that there's a balance. Or some kids
yes,
they want to dress themselves, and it's okay to let them, even if they put
yes,
clothes on that maybe not match. And I'm sure you've seen that.
yes, yes. And it's quite stressful for parents knowing what is right, what is wrong, because a lot of parents are first-time parents, and it doesn't really matter if you're second or third time. So it's a lot of emotions involved that is
Yeah,
challenging. Worrying and stress of balancing work with family life is the biggest one, I think, in my observation, because parents work, they make money, they pay for everything, they want to provide family, they want their children have everything. At the same time, they want to spend time, and it's quite difficult to balance it. It's I think it's most difficult that one. Then
I
also
think
this.
you're completely right, because I remember when I was working as a physician, I always felt guilty because I thought I
Mhm,
should be home, I should be looking. Now the children are okay, they grow up. But
mhm.
yes, it is a big responsibility and it's very stressful, and children are experts at pushing your buttons.
Oh yes, oh yes. So another thing children's parents struggle with, it's just to catch up on basic sleep. Every parent I know, they're sleep deprived. Do you know? And I always say, you have to have time to sleep. You have to have time to sleep, because if you don't sleep enough, it's a base for all the mental health and bunch of problems. So why they're sleep deprived? Some young parents are so naive. They think, oh, I have a baby, and this baby will grow and become 1 year old and 2 years old, and he will sleep. No, they never sleep. they get up at 3 years old, 4 years old. They march to parents' bedroom. They wake them up. You can train them. However, because brain is developing and they get sick, various reasons, they keep their parents awake. So they get very sleep deprived. And another stress, I would say, quite important one, the responsibility. I look at parents and I feel, you know, I really feel sorry for them, because so much responsibility, to financial responsibility they have to make sure, then responsibility they have to decide what parenting style they're going to choose, what rules they have to establish in the house, what diet they have, what schools they go, what nanny to hire. Well, you name it, there's a whole list of things they have to take responsibility to make decisions. So it's a lot of things on parents' shoulders. I really admire parents. Sometimes I look at them.
But really,
Yeah.
parenting has been called one of the hardest jobs in the world, and it is. It is really hard. And I
Yeah.
don't know a single parent that hasn't struggled with it at some point, unless they're very irresponsible and don't care. That happens, but very rarely. Most kids want the best. Most parents want the best for their kids. Now, Chinara, I know you worked for affluent families and VIPs, and people are constantly in the eyes of the public and the media. Now, let us regular people on a few insights. How is life in those families?
Well, this is interesting, because working for affluent parents is very, very interesting, because not because they have a lot of money, they're humans just like us, and they are vulnerable just like us, but they are they have very busy schedules. So they fly frequently. So as a nanny, we have to know where we're flying. We have to know the weather over there. We have to know what clothes to take, lots of packing involved. We need to know if children are vaccinated, how to keep them safe over there. And sometimes it's in very short notice. So I learned to keep my passport always with me. I don't carry it every day, but it's always there, ready, because we can fly in short notice. Also, I tell you quite interesting thing, that it can be quite tricky. For example, when you sign a contract for a VIP family, they call them VIP, they're not just affluent. You don't quite understand. Well, I didn't understand. It was 25 pages. What do they say? Well, fine. Okay, confidentiality, I can do that. The rest, whatever. So I signed. So in one case, what happened? A prime minister walked in. We were on Sunday morning. I was in the kitchen. He walked in flip-flops and shorts. I was so speechless, Christine. I didn't know, and the first thing I thought, okay, what's the protocol? What's the protocol? What do I need to do? I thought, Christine,
the prime minister in the kitchen, iPhone, snap photo.
Yes, and you know,
of the sun.
He was in country residence, and the voice in my head was saying, why is he in flip-flops? Prime ministers don't wear flip-flops. They don't walk in. And I was like, oh, come on, you shut up. What do I do now? And I thought, shall I say an old traditional English, nice weather, isn't it, Prime Minister? Or shall I say, how do you do, Prime Minister? Oh, and by the time I was thinking, I stayed mute, and he made his coffee and left. So then I remembered afterwards that the
That is
protocol.
too funny.
Yes, it is.
Sarah, what a treasure trove of experience and practical knowledge and fun. And I'm sure that our listeners will take in every little nugget, especially the Prime Minister. And it's
Yes.
let me ask you, Sarah,
Just
why do you want to change your career when you're so happy being a nanny? What prompted you to become a coach at this stage of your life?
So this is an interesting journey for me, Christine, because I learned so much by working as a nanny. I learned so much about children, about parents, and this expertise on bringing up children, on parenting, is most complex. So I worked for people who make money, who run the empires, who are so wealthy or so talented, etc. But the most difficult part, the most difficult job is parenting. I'm really honestly telling you, Christine, and you know that, it's parenting. So the journey being to become a parenting coach has an aim to reach out as many parents, because you only have one shot. So a child grows up so fast. So when a child grows up, that's when you're going to see your fruits of your labor. That's when you see the adult your child become. So I am so lucky that I met Dr. Christine, and Dr. Christine's expertise on mental health and brain health, together with my nanny expertise, can give so much support to parents from every angle, because it's not just a child, it's a whole family. It's a whole family, because stress, the all this fast growing world, children not coping at school, what shall we do about discipline? What shall we do about homeworks, etc.? It all comes together. So I think we have a very unique product here, which can be offered for parents. It is very, very in earthy, simplified language, compressed and simplified version of it, so every parent can implement. And imagine every parent, and I believe every parent wants to do best for their children, implementing those methods we are offering, and so many genius children in the world. Can you imagine?
Isn't that wonderful? And really, nobody knows what your child is able to become in the future. And maybe your child, when you're listening here, will be the next president of America, or the prime minister of Great Britain, or another country.
Yes.
Maybe there will be a famous inventor, or lead a company that helps to improve many other people's lives.
Yes, Christine, one person can make the difference in the world. So if I can make the difference, helping somebody, and somebody has a child, which they implement all these parenting tools and skills, and that child can make the difference in this world, then I would never regret. I would never regret.
Yeah, I agree. It's always a good idea to invest in our children, because they are our future.
Yes,
Wow.
yes, and that's the best investment on your children. It's because I'm a parent, I know, and you're a parent, Christine. We are all in the same boat. I'm not just saying because I read books or something. No, I know how hard it is. And I wish when I was mom, I had all that support.
Yeah, me too.
And yes, I wish I had a nanny, Chinara, honestly.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
Chinara, you're calling your method of parenting tiger parenting. That's also the name of your website. What does tiger parenting mean to you?
Well, Originally, I'm from Central Asia, where mountain chain goes through there. From amazing place where some amazing people live there. They believe in culture, they believe in traditions, and parents feel respected by children, and they have certain methods of bringing up their children. So we call it tiger parenting, because tiger parenting is a method of parenting where discipline is enforced to very disciplinarian. So they expect child to do well. And there are lots of benefits of it. I only realized that when I was a teenager, I used to resent, but moving to West, and I moved when I was young, I've realized the benefits of tiger parenting, which lack in Western world. So in Western world, being a parent myself, I faced with a system where a very liberal and permissive parenting. And I watched the whole generation of young people who grow up. They don't know what they're good at. They don't know how to make money. They don't know how to support themselves. Plus, they have no respect to parents. And I had to examine all that, what happened here. So Dr. Christine and I, we put this system together, which was, I was trying for some time. So I call it tiger parenting, where East meets West. So
I love that.
Yes, because this is tiger parenting where it's very disciplinarian, okay? And Western, if you ask my daughter, one day I'm going to ask my daughter to make a video for us. So she's an amazing adult now. It's just, you're going to love her. So
Yes.
she was brought up under a system where I was disciplinarian and her father is English. Her father used to say, hold on a moment. She said she doesn't want to be a plastic surgeon. How about if we ask her what she wants? And she said, I like mathematics. So she had to choose it. But I wanted her to be a
plastic surgeon.
And I thought there's nothing wrong with it. But what I like in Western system, they actually ask children. They ask children, if child doesn't want to play violin, they're not going to force him. They actually listen to children, which is very nice, very good, healthy. And that is in our program as well, how to listen to a child. So tiger parenting is an amazing program. Please, please implement it to your families. And we have an amazing gift. Dr. Christine and I, we have an amazing gift to give it to you for free, which you can download. And Dr. Christine can tell you where. So I love it. I love it. And I genuinely want every parent uses those methods, because you listen to your child, you respect your child, you feel respected, your child is genius, your child grows up into amazing individual in future, independent, happy. He has so many skills and passionate. Well, what more do you need? Healthy in mind and body. So tiger parenting is very good.
The way, Gennaro, the way you teach tiger parenting and we do it together, those strategies really combine the best from Eastern and Western parenting traditions and science, and they result in the best results. And I think that is really amazing. And yes, we have a wonderful book that we did together, and where you explained the 10 best strategies and secrets that you recommend for parents to use if they want to raise their child to be a genius, to live in their genius zone, to become their best. And you know, to get it, all you need to do is go to the Gennaro's website, which is www.tigerparenting.org. So it's not a com, it's an org website. So go down there right now, and I'll put the link on the video and underneath, of course. and download it for free. And it's 10 secrets that every parent needs to know. And I showed it to a few parents. I read it myself and said, oh, wow, I wish I would have known that. That's a reaction we always get. And I love that. So you will want to know them. If you have children or grandchildren even, you want to know what Chinara is writing. It's so true. So that's a great ending. And who doesn't want their children to shine, to become their best? So it's really amazing. So thank you again, Chinara, for doing that with me and for sharing your passion, your knowledge, your experience that you want to use to see more people and raise their children to become highly successful. And I can see us definitely do more shows on parenting, on children's mental health, on resilience, and creating maybe even books. Oh, sorry, interrupt me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I just like children put my hand up to can I just squeeze in just 3 little methods so
please. Oh, yes.
Today they can take away and implement immediately.
Go for it.
Okay, so number 1, you just need 20 minutes a day to dedicate for your child. It has detrimental effects. So what you do, 20 minutes, and you tell your child, okay, this is your time. We can do anything you want, but not watching telly or playing games, anything, literally anything. And those 20 minutes, you give full attention to your child. So your child knows this is his or her time and he or she was heard. So maybe your child can tell about troubles at school or amazing friends, or maybe they were up to no good somewhere. You don't raise your eyebrows. You don't comment anything negative. You don't threaten. You don't say that's unacceptable. You just listen. You nod and say, that must be difficult. That probably was difficult for you. Or I am so proud of you. Those 20 minutes, they will come back as 20 million benefits to you. Trust me, because it's called bond between a parent and a child. Just 20 minutes. So if you do that, then second one, you can enforce family rules. That's where the discipline comes. If you don't get bonded, your discipline is not going to work. So when you do disciplining, you write down 4 rules, no more. Okay, 5. You write them down, make it very clear, and you explain the consequences and stick it on the fridge. That's it. And if they break the rule, you don't say, I give you 1 chance and second one and that. And no, you enforce consequences. That's it. It will give you amazing benefit of asking your child just once in the future without losing any temper or getting frustrated. Number 3, please, 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 every parent out there, tell your child many times a day or times of a night, anytime, how much you love your child. So even when you enforce the consequences of broken rules, child will know you love him or her. So please tell that you always, always love. It doesn't matter in what circumstances. It doesn't matter if you're disciplining and you are enforcing the family rules, or you want him to do something, or you are disappointed. He still will know you love him. So 3 things. Surely you can do that. Thank you, Christine. I'm sorry I interrupted you.
No. That was so worth it. Thank you for being so generous and share those 3 tips, because even if you don't go to the website, which I highly recommend because there's more, then at least you have the 3 really important tips. Yes. And if you just do these 3 kids, your children probably will turn out so much better than they would otherwise.
Oh, yes. Yes.
So again, if you want to get Chinara's 10 best secrets for the stressed parents and how to raise your child to be a genius, just go to Tiger Parenting, Tiger Parenting, one word, .org. And then you can download for free from there. And I can't wait to see all the children of these smart parents shine and succeed. So that's the end of today's version of Sparkles for Mental Health. Make sure to subscribe to our show so you don't miss another episode. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.